So hi everybody, I'm John McLaverty, and singer-songwriter from Analog via Randallstown. I wouldn't say my family were very musical. My mother and father, God rest them, didn't carry a note in their head, but my brother was bringing records home from school, from St. Malachy's, Good Vibrations records, and I remember him playing Distinct Memories of Buddy Holly. He was considerably older than me at the time. He was 9 years older, so I was quite a young lad, but those records really resonated. And then as he expanded his collection, I just started listening to them all, got them for free. And then he was a huge Beatles nut as well, Rolling Stones. That's really where it started. He also then lifted a guitar he bought for £6, I remember, and showed me a few chords when I was a young lad. And I remember the key thing for me at the time was the ADE and trying to change your hand patterns as quickly as possible. That was really where it started. When you're smiling, how happy we'll be. And when you're laughing, I hope you can see. When you're loving somebody, when you're loving somebody, when you're loving somebody, don't ever change. When you're crying, how sad we will feel. And when you're sighing, I know it's for real. When you're loving somebody, when you're loving somebody, when you're loving somebody, don't ever change. Loving you is easy now. The hopes are far from you. We used to be the same, how they disappear. Though we often talked out loud about a past we should have shared, neither one of us was there or well prepared. When you're laughing, I know that it's real. And when you're crying, well, I know that it's for real. When you're loving somebody, when you're loving somebody, when you're loving somebody, don't ever change. When you're loving somebody, when you're loving somebody, when you're loving somebody, don't ever change. When you're loving somebody, when you're loving somebody, when you're loving somebody, don't ever change. So my first guitar was a Rickenbacker copy. It was a terrible guitar. I remember that I just didn't keep tune at all, and it met a poor end somewhere. But I was quite into electric guitars, and I remember, thankfully, they were doing a HP down the road here, and was it Marcus Music at the time? And you were able to walk out the shop that day. I remember getting a brand new Stratocaster. It was, sunburst, a really beautiful thing. And then just played it straight in the band. Bought a PA, bought an amplifier, and from then I've sort of built a collection of electrics, of your Gibson Les Paul, and then a real Rickenbacker. But my favourite one, funny, is probably the cheapest one I have, which is the Aquaphone Casino. I think it's got a great growl to it. Great growl. But if I'm writing, it'll be entirely acoustic. So I'll write an acoustic guitar. And I wouldn't go to the lengths of buying an expensive acoustic. I'd always go for like a mid-range one, to be honest. I never perceived myself as a great player or a very dexterous finger picker, so I would always consider myself a strummer.
Standing down in Camden Town, with all the people milling round, there's one that shouldn't be here anymore. Went down to the marketplace, where I had my first disgrace. The one that shouldn't be here anymore. Gather my morale, the one that should be here anymore. Went up doing all red door, seen so many lives before, the one that should be here anymore. Full on bloom. I wonder, should I be here anymore? Right outside of my shade, thank God no one knew my name. I wonder, should I be here anymore?
Okay, so basically after being in a few bands, I always found that my writing was geared towards the band. It was always writing for measure, writing for what our capabilities were and the style of music we were doing. So it was very much rock and roll, punky stuff which I was writing. But I always kind of tried to temper it with, I tried to stretch myself to write in any kind of genre. So if it was Motown, I would try and write one. If it was that kind, I would try and write one. Met David McCann, who is an excellent guitar player, as you know, and a good friend, and we wrote together quite a few songs, formed a band, the Sandrunners, and released 3 albums. But we had about 50 tunes, and probably by the end of it we had about 50 tunes that we co-wrote. It was great for me because David is a fine lyricist as well as a guitar player, and it helped me to hone in that weakness which I have, which is lyrics essentially. I always found melody fairly easy, to be honest with you, straightforward. But lyrics and tying a story together, tightening up the whole process, I found quite difficult. So David was a great help. But the band thing has its ups and downs. One of them is that you have to rehearse constantly. One of them is you have some members who may not be as, well, they're lazy. Let's be honest about it. They maybe don't want to do as much as they should be doing. And I found that incredibly frustrating. So I built my own studio and decided to do it all myself. And it's been quite liberating because there's no one there really to annoy you. And you can throw on whatever you want to throw on. And also with the wonders of technology, you can maybe send it off to your compatriots and get them to add a part for you if you want. That's the wonder of the journey now. In terms of playing, I'm not a performer. I don't like it. I find it quite difficult and intimidating, and I get very, very nervous. When I'm on there, as long as it's dark and I can't see anybody, I'm okay. I think I can go through it okay. But it's not a nice place for me, to be honest with you. It's not really what I want to do. I'm more a behind the scenes kind of person. I think I'm more of a writer and a producer. That's really where I see myself. I'll do the odd gig, but I don't seek them out particularly, I have to be honest.
Getting old and my hair is thin. Time's not on my side. It's not right to let this get you down. My little girl's heart beats inside. Shorter days and those long cold nights, and sleep is far from my eyes. I gaze upon the wonder of you, and all my senses set alight. What's his magic? This homemade sorcery. When you look upon your own eyes, it's a miracle, a spreading beam of light, a torch that permeates the night. Yes, it's true, I'll be kept on my toes through all the passing years. But it's something that I will not regret. There'll be countless highs and lows. What's this magic? This homemade sorcery. When you look upon your own eyes, it's a miracle, a spreading beam of light, a torch that permeates the night. So don't worry, darling, I'll still be here, and I'll stand by your side. I'll keep you safe for as long as I can, and I will never disappear. What's this magic? This homemade sorcery. When you look upon your own eyes, it's a miracle, a spreading beam of light. The torch permeates the night. The night.
Perfect song. It's a good question. I find the whole thing odd. I think there's a perception within the singer-songwriting sort of community to go more ballady, to go more acoustic. It's more to sell the lyric or to build the song around the lyric. Whereas I'm approached it probably slightly different. I'm coming more from a rock background, to be honest with you. So I'm looking at how the song's going to serve the overall band. So I still write that way. So when I go on stage and use an acoustic guitar, it's really minimal. It's not really what I want to hear. And I find it sort of quite upsetting that there's only me singing this acoustic song. I want the band there. To add those flavours and colours that you maybe don't get. The perfect song for me has to be between 3 and 4 minutes. Anything over is a luxury. It's not really necessary. It has to be tightly structured. The lyric has to have a start, beginning and end that makes sense to the listener. And for me, it has to have that melody. It has to have that hook, or at least one or two of them. That makes the perfect song for me. But it's all about melody, really, for me at the start. It's not lyric driven. It's the melody. Lyric comes after. If you can get both together, then that's fantastic. But that's what it is.
Put on the cooker, turn it to gas mark number 3. Switch on the radio, turn up the volume for me. It's then I'm reminded of all of the things important to me. A Rolling Stones record is playing away on TV. The boys and the girls gather round to watch from the city. But then I'm reminded again all of the things that you said. And I'm reminded of all of the things important to me. The crackling old vinyl I first heard when I was a child. Turning again now, it hasn't been played in a while. It's then I'm reminded again all of the things that you said. It's then I'm reminded of all of the things important to me. But then I'm reminded again all of the things that you said. But then I'm reminded of all of the things important to me.
Again, you know, this, we tried this with albums and stuff, and we had you know, great rehearsals, and everybody was in fighting fit form. We went out and played it 3 times, and that was the end of the venues. So it was very, very, very difficult. And also, I think things have changed. Even cover art, you know, things have died away, which, so, you know, it's a shame, because it used to be you would buy albums. It was an event. The release day was an event. I know for me, I'm not sure about everybody else, but there were certain albums that really picked up an atmosphere. I remember there was a great album, Gene Clark, No Other, and I remember looking at the cover. I'd love to go inside that cover, or go inside that studio. Love to know what they were talking about, how they got that album together. That's really that's what I wanted to know about it mostly. But the thing is that even then, people didn't make it, but it survived. The music survived. The art survived. And I think sometimes that's maybe the most important thing, that the craft of it's still there. And the modern technology, especially, allows for it to survive. So, in terms of market and all, you can be really lucky. You might have great material, you might have youth on your side, and might have drive, but just be happy that you're able to do it. That's my advice.
The moonbeams in it set up the night skies. They pull on my heartstrings, and I get filled with surprise when I'm awake, with no sleep in my eyes. And I'm trying to bury them low, all of my lies. And I'm standing at the crossroads, watching the fields on fire. And the crossroads demon is giving me my desire. There's been no days that I haven't thought of you. There's been no night I stand here with tears in my eyes, and I'm standing at the crossroads watching the fields on fire, and the crossroads steaming and giving me my desire. And the crossroads steaming and giving me my desire.
So I just released, so there's 3 albums of the Sandrunners on all the music platforms, and there's a solo album I did during COVID just called John McLaverty, which is on there too. We put them up for free because we didn't see that the music's out there to get it as much publicity as possible. So that's why it's there. That's where you can hear me. And watch the space. There might be another Sandrunners album possibly in the future. We should see. Be great to work with Rory Donaghy again. Just shout out Rory. Has a great studio in Derry.
When you're all alone, but expected to go on, with nothing much is wrong, they want you to be strong. When you're wide awake and your heart's about to break, I'll be with you. I'll be with you. When you're feeling blue and you think it's only you, when plans are falling through, it's time for something new. When you're wide awake and your heart's about to break, I'll be with you. I'll be with you. One more hour, one more day, until that pain has washed away. If you're feeling bad and feeling kind of sad, open up your heart, let yourself be glad. When you're wide awake, when your heart's about to break,